For Peter Mary Marmion, I want a mission. For Marmion, born on 28 August 1790, grew up at a time of the French Revolution. The reign of terror in 1793 burst over Savoy. He entered the seminary in 1807, a top-ranking student, fervent at prayer, a hard worker. He was ordained priest on 21st March 1813. He did 3 years ministry at Maitland. Then he was a teacher at Medan College. From there, every Saturday, he walked 10 kilometers for service in a parish and returned back on Sunday evening. In 1819, the bishop appointed him as parish priest at Charterlog. He invited Father Joseph Mary Faber, a good preacher, to conduct the parish mission. People were indifferent. 3 days they tried. There was no response from the people. As they failed, both Father Faber and Father Marmion went to a Carthusian monastery 35 kilometers away to pray and do penance for the people. After 1 week, they came back. They continued the mission, and the people in big numbers took part, and it was successful. After 10 years of pastoral life, in 1823, the new bishop appointed Father Marmion as the spiritual director of the major seminary at Annecy. Convinced that his place was not in the seminary, he sought permission for preaching missions. Bishop allowed him. He, with few other priests who joined him, went round preaching and teaching from parish to parish. In 1832, there were 6, and they did much work of missions. Parish missions were an indispensable weapon to fight against indifference and ignorance among people. The parish mission, as it was called, was a God-given opportunity of bestowing substantial basic teaching. Father Marmion wished to establish a religious congregation with his team members. Meanwhile, Bishop Toilas died. The new bishop was Peter Joseph Gray. All like him left one by one. For Marmion's right hand gave up and left. His departure was a severe blow for Father Marmion. For Revillard left. The only one who remained was Father Philip Gaidon. The young and energetic Jacques Martin planned to leave. For Marmion told, my friend, you are free. Just make up your mind which side you have to take. If you leave me after 10 years of trial, I shall be alone. My resolve is unshakable. My desire to remain is same. I want the mission. The four dioceses of Savoy, especially the Diocese of Annecy, had a wonderful renewal of Christian life. On September 24, 1838, after a fervent retreat, 6 missionaries made the vow of stability during a simple ceremony in the chapel of Lafayette. They were Fathers Peter Marmier, Jacques Martin, Philip Gaidon, Joseph Cheminal, Aim Petition, and Joseph Laurel. For Marmier asked Bishop Ray to approve the rules making the missionaries a society of religious priests. The patron and special protector of the congregation is Saint Francis the Sage. The clarion call for Marmier, I want the mission, was to continue his service in the local church. It was an apostolate for the renewal of Christian life. It was not a call for apostolate overseas and pioneering evangelization or for apostolate of education. The parish missions and retreats preached from 1832 to 1862 during the founder's lifetime were more than 620, and that in 240 parishes. By the MSFS, 573 in 226 parishes. The other congregations, such as the Jesuits, Capuchins, and Redemptorists, had only 47, and that in 14 parishes. Between 1828 and 1857, Father Marmier alone preached 90 missions. In addition, he preached a number of retreats. Bishop Joseph Gray told them, I shall express your duties in 3 words. 1. Study St. Francis de Sales. 2. Imitate his virtues. 3. Take as your own his method of direction, gentle towards poor sinners. A few days later, on 24th October 1838, Bishop Ray granted his canonical approval, making the MSFS congregation a diocesan religious institute. On September 1842, Father Marmier went to Rome to get approval for the congregation and the constitution and the rules. He met Cardinal Fransoni, the head of the congregation for the evangelization of faith. He was told he had to meet the cardinal in charge of bishops and religious. He could not get any approval. Father Marmier did not give up. He had a terrific ordeal. he had to undergo much humiliations, trials and suffering. Having been rejected, he went on praying and multiplying novenas. He had trust and hope in God. He went from office to office. He met Holy Father, Pope Gregory the 16th, on 28 March 1843. He met the Pope 2 times. He wrote letters to all the bishops of Savoy to get their recommendations. He visited all shrines in Rome. He made 30 days retreat with the Jesuit fathers. After 9 months, Father Marmier came back from Rome on 24th June. On the way, he went on pilgrimage to Loreto, where he prayed a long time at the sanctuary of Our Lady. After return, he wrote again in 1843 to Propaganda, reminding the offer of missionaries and to assign a mission territory. On 22nd June 1843, Father Marmier received the decree of praise, the first step to approbation. On 2nd May 1845, Cardinal Fransoni wrote to Father Marmier entrusting the vast mission territory of Visakhapatnam, measuring 4,35,000 square kilometers, with the river Godavari in the south and rivers Narmada and Mahanadi in the north, and Bay of Bengal in the east, and Godavari's origin area near Mumbai in the west. Was received at Lafayette on the 10th May 1845. They received it with great joy. The congregation was only 4 years old, was poor in personnel, 10 priests and 4 brothers, possessed no financial resources. It was a tremendous and daring leap into the dark, solely trusting in God. For Marmier chose from the 14 the best forefathers and 2 brothers. Hurried preparations were made at short notice. On 13th May 1845, Father Shag Martin, 42 years old, and Father Joseph Davrel, 43 years, went to Paris to join the MEP fathers going to India. The others, for Jean Tissot, 28 years, and 2 brothers, Brother Peter Carden, 40 years, and Brother Sulpice Fontenelle, 25 years. They went on 28th May to Bordeaux Harbor in the south. On June 5th, all embarked the ship going to India. After 88 days of journey, they reached Pondicherry and landed on the shore on the 8th September 1845 on the festivity. The group was caught up for 4 months in Pondicherry due to unforeseen obstacles and certain formalities. It was only on 16th February 1846 the missionaries could reach Yanam in Andhra Pradesh and Visakhapatnam on 19th February 1846. Within 2.5 months, Farshad Martin died at Yanam on 5th May 1846 due to sunstroke at the age of 43. For Henry Gayo, MEP, the pro-vicar who accompanied our missionaries played a trick and appointed Farshad Martin as the parish priest of Yanam instead of sending him to Visakhapatnam as the leader of the MSFS team. The other three priests, for Jean Mary Tissot, 35 years, stationed at Vizag, and Father Joseph Lavarel, 43 years, went to Kyanti, Nagpur, and Fathers John Stavane, 28 years old, went to Aurangabad and Jalna. They had to travel 600 kilometers each from Vizag to go to Nagpur or to Jalna. And dangerous trips, untold sufferings and hardships the missionaries had to undergo all over. They toiled in poverty, solitude, and incessant travels with preventive means of transport. They had to make long trips through forests and hills on bullock carts. The mission lost many young trees, especially in Ganjam, Berambu, Surada, and other places due to scorching heat, malarial fever, epidemics, and other sicknesses. Father Gawar, after a killing journey by walk and on bullock cart from Pondicherry to Vizag, died at Samalkot at the age of 28. For Jean Tissot and Father Sarme, in 1850, went from Vizag to the hills of Orissa for excavation of the Kont tribes. Both were down with jungle fever. When they came back to Ganjam, they administered to each other the sacrament of the sick. The following day, for Sarme was found dead. He was only 26 years old. When Bishop Rosion was Bishop of Vizag, he had a council meeting. All agreed to give up the two districts of Ganjam and Cuttack. It would be a great sacrifice to abandon Surada, where so many fathers died. The fathers of Surada agreed. Bishop wanted to hand over to some other congregation. In June 1921, the Spanish Lazarists or Vincentians accepted to take over the Orissa mission. On 3rd February 1922, Bishop Rosion came to Surada to give confirmation and handed over the stations. 4,200 Catholics and 2,500 catechumens were entrusted to the Lazarists or the Vincentians. The pioneering missionaries proved they were the best by their daring and wonderful works they did in evangelization, building churches, putting foundation of the MSFS on a strong footing. We can proudly say that 13 dioceses have been carved out of Visakhapatnam mission. For Marmiya was a man of deep faith, extremely kind, but very firm, a man of conviction, with persevering tenacity, bold and very zealous, and with a passion for souls, a man intensely active and at the same time with a deep prayer life. He was a humble man, possessed by a strength from on high. Survived in India, I am convinced it is a miracle. It is painful to think that many of our MSFS fathers who sacrificed their life for the evangelization of the vast Visakhapatnam mission from Yanam to Kamti and Jalna died young. The Sacred Congregation of the Propaganda Fide in Rome had promised financial aid for the missions in India. They gave to the MEP Superior General of Paris only the amount for their travel expenses. Our forefathers and two brothers had only 320 rupees when they went from Pondicherry to Yanam. All our fathers had to undergo such sufferings and opposition from the Portuguese Padravado priest of Goa. I have no doubt that if our MSFS missionaries survived in India and built up our missions, it was really a miracle God worked. Let us thank God. Finally, let us rejoice that in 1993, Father Marmiya was declared a servant of God. Father Marmiya was indeed a real saint. Let us venerate him and imitate him.